And then I'm a plant physiologist, right? Physiology ni study on the mechanism, right? Study on the mechanism. It's not dia ada fakta, alright, of course fakta, but for me, you tak ingat fakta tak apa, tapi you faham the you faham the mechanism. Means, for example, I think you have familiar with Kelvin cycles, the process of carbon fixation in the chloroplast, alright? How carbon is fixed and how carbon is changed, transformed into carbon dioxide, transformed into glucose, right? So you will realize that there are more than 10 enzymes in the cycles, right? I'm not saying that all the step is important, right? Step is important, but the enzymes that working in that cycle important. Okay, the enzyme yang terlibat dalam cycle tu important, but not as much as you have to remember every single enzyme in the cycles, right? You don't have to remember that. As long as you know the principle of what is Kelvin cycles, okay. Nanti saya akan explain lah. Alright, through the lecture you will know. Right, for example, what you looking at the slide, you looking the slide now, you see that this is the proteins that embedded into the plasma membrane in the chloroplast. Photosynthesis happens in the chloroplast lah, chloroplast organelle. Right, so dalam membrane of chloroplast, dalam membrane tu ada thylakoid. Nanti kita tengok. I think you dah belajar dalam cell biology or cell biology something like that. Ada chloroplast, dalam chloroplast ada grana, dalam grana ada membran thylakoid. Yang ni lah. So that the series of proteins. Okay. I'm going to be teaching you the process, but you don't have to remember everything in the diagrams. Okay. Sama juga dalam Kelvin cycle, you don't have to remember all the enzyme. Unless you do PhD, unless you do master, you study on that particular enzymes, then that will be okay lah, that different story. As long as you know the basic and fundamental processes in the Kelvin cycle, then it's enough. Okay. The next examples adalah photosynthesis equation. Carbon, kalau di Google ada carbon dioxide plus water plus with the help of energy, and then produce glucose, right? To be honest, I don't remember exactly the equation, even though my PhD was in photosynthesis, right? The highest level in academic lines for certain particular fields is the philosophy lah, PhD. But even I study the photosynthesis, I don't remember exactly the equation of the photosynthesis. But if I Google it, if you give me the equation, no, I mean I don't remember. I know that carbon dioxide plus water, but you know that there will be numbers just before the carbon dioxide. For example, six carbon, something like that, right? Plus 6 water, jadi 6 glucose, something like that. I don't remember the numbers that make the equation balance. But if you give me the equation, I do understand. I can explain everything, right? From the numbers, from the carbon dioxide, why water, is that the plants doing the water, right? Why is that the photosynthesis during the water, right? Why does it need the water? Then I can explain. So that's something that I want to apply in the teaching, right? You don't necessarily have to remember all the things, but even when some set of information giving to you, then you can explain. Okay, tu maksud saya untuk nak sampaikan. Alright, so so kita masuklah ni betul-betul for the photosynthesis. If you don't understand, okay, sometimes I'm not saying that my English is very good. I know I'm I'm sure many of you got better English than me. I scored my English during my SPM. It was 5C, right? And then I scored band 3 during my MWEC, right? So my English not very good. So if you don't understand some things and then you just, okay, I don't understand, can you just please repeat? All right. It's okay for me. Even in the middle of the lecture, you can just, okay, raise up your hands. You know, you got button here. Raise your hands, and then you can just, okay, I don't understand. Can you please tell me this? Why is that? Okay, so I can explain. Right. So photosynthesis is basically a process of making foods. All right. It's, you know, if you are a scientist, okay, there are millions of research, all right, from scientists, okay, looking at the methods how to develop, how to increase the yield, hasil, okay, dalam plants, okay. They are doing on the breeding section, they are doing on the morphology section, they're looking at the anatomical section, all right. In the end of the day, the ultimate purpose is to increase the yield. For example, research in paddy, there are tens of thousands research on paddy. All right, ada yang study on this active compounds, ada yang study on this anatomical part of the roots, the stems, the leaves. Alright, ada yang buat molecular breedings. Alright, ada yang buat physiology. Alright, in the end of the day, they want to increase the yield of rice. Okay, but indirectly, the terms of increase of yield, okay, adalah proses yang menghasilkan that yield, which is photosynthesis. Okay? If even there are some research, no, they didn't mention looking at the photosynthesis process, but as long as the ultimate goal is to increase the yield, to improve the growth of plants, right? Nak tak nak, right? Dia akan go back to the photosynthesis, right? Because the process of making foods is photosynthesis, right? And also, if you go and Google and have some global issues, all right, about climate change, the increase of temperature in environments, okay, increase the temperature in environments, and the environmentalists relate to the numbers of the amount of increasing of carbon dioxide in the environments, right? The high temperature in the environment is caused by the numbers of intense carbon dioxide lah dalam atmosphere. Alright. So, nak tak nak, kita kena get rid of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Right. So, one of it adalah the natural process, what we call photosynthesis. Right. The only natural process that can capture the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, alright, and tukarkan dia kepada dalam bentuk organik, okay, store dalam pokok, ataupun store dalam satu structure, kita panggil carbohydrate lah, right, adalah process of photosynthesis. Okay, that's why photosynthesis is very important. We can say that photosynthesis is the mother of the core process lah for many studies in plant science. Okay, in the end of the day, we'll go back to the photosynthesis, right? Because the only process that I've just said that the only process that can fix the carbon dioxide from atmosphere adalah photosynthesis. Okay. So photosynthesis process ada dua je photosynthesis process. we call light reaction in photosynthesis ataupun light dependent photosynthesis, and then light independent. Light independent adalah kita panggil Calvin cycle lah. I think most of you have already known. Ada dua, which is cahaya light reaction ataupun light dependent dengan dark reaction. Dark reaction Calvin cycle tu sama je. Alright. So for this week we go for this first part. We go for the light reaction in photosynthesis. Okay. Sekejap, saya kena google dia punya equation. Six 802 6 hash energy plus C 6 hash 1206 plus number 6 oxygen. 6 oxygen. Right. Boleh nampak equation kat sini. Macam saya cakap, saya tak ingat dia punya equation. So saya kena google juga. Right. So basically, you know that photosynthesis produce carbohydrate. Alright. Specifically glucose. Glucose adalah satu molekul 6 carbons. So that's why ada 6 carbon here. Dia memang glucose lah. Alright, glucose. So 6 carbon. Alright. So sebab ada 6 carbon to form a molecule of glucose, so plant needs to feed to capture 6 carbon dioxide in the atmosphere untuk produce one molecule of one molecule of glucose. Right. So setiap dia kena capture 6 lah, 6 carbon dioxide. Okay, baru jadi satu molecule of glucose. Okay, the first thing you have to remember adalah glucose lah. Glucose adalah 6 carbon. So that's why dia letak kat depan ni 6. Alright. 6 carbon dioxide. Alright. And then 6 molecule of water lah. Alright. Dia kena balance kat belakang ni. Alright. So 6 oxygen. 6 sorry. Itu 12. Okay. So oxygen ada 12. Oxygen ada 6. Ada 6. So ada 12 lah. Oxygen sini adalah 6. Okay. Oxygen ni pun ada 6. Right, so dah balance. Macam tu dia cerita dia, nak balancekan equation. Okay. So the important factors adalah cahaya kat sini. Alright, energy. Okay, energy energy tak termasuk dalam equation, tapi we can measure the energy. The quality of the energy, the intensity of the energy is very important in the process of the photosynthesis. Right, if you Google is the system convert the light energy into chemical energy. Alright, chemical energy ni ATP lah, ATP ataupun molecules yang dalam tu mempunyai energy, which is glucose. Sebab tu dia belajar the process of respiration is to produce ATP. Okay, kita bernafas adalah untuk kita produce energy, ATP, right? The ATP coming from the glucose, right? The pecahan glucose, and then dia akan last sekali dia akan membentuk, dia akan digunakan to produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, right? To fuel up our metabolic activities in the body. Without ATP, So many metabolic activities in the cells, alright, dia akan disrupted lah, right? Even kita nak berjalan ke, kita nak bergerak ke, sama juga dengan pokok. Okay, even they do the photosynthesis, they need ATP, they need energy, alright? So so the terms of the photosynthesis ni adalah they convert the light energy, alright, and then store it in the form of the organic molecules, which is glucose, right? And later on, the glucose will be dipecahkan lah. Okay, will be broken down into smaller parts, okay, smaller molecules, and then finally to produce ATP in the respiration process. To different topics lah nanti. So Tuhan dah jadikan segalanya sangat cantik, alright. Kalau kita belajar, kalau logically macam manalah cahaya, macam lampu sulur tu, okay. Kadang lampu sulur, cahaya pada lampu sulur tu ada energi, right? Macam mana energi lampu sulur tu, Tuhan jadikan sistem convert that energy untuk simpan dalam bentuk organik, so kita boleh guna, alright. Kita tak boleh, even pokok dia tak boleh guna tenaga directly, okay, daripada sunlight terus dia nak buat produce ATP. No, that's not the way. They have to use the they have to use the energy, they have to capture the energy, right? And then the energy tu dia akan feed dengan carbon dioxide, dia akan dia akan combine so that the energy to store dalam glucose. Okay, dia memang something yang memang sangat orang kata amazing lah, alright. Cahaya tu boleh ditukarkan dalam bentuk tenaga dan dalam bentuk glukos, okay, dalam bentuk karbohidrat lah. So ni adalah the light reaction in photosynthesis. You have to remember ada specific purpose kenapa ada dua part of photosynthesis. Satu light dependent, satu light independent. Alright. For the light dependent, the only purpose of light dependent is to produce ATP. Alright. And then to produce electron carrier. This is electron carrier. Alright. So electron carrier ni akan masuk dalam ATP dengan electron carrier akan masuk Kelvin cycle. Alright, akan masuk Kelvin cycle. So because of Kelvin cycle needs electron carrier, Kelvin cycle needs ATP. Alright, so where does the energy coming from? So where does all the molecules coming from? Adalah light, from the light dependent. Right. So if light dependent light dependent photosynthesis system down, so light independent ataupun dark reaction or Kelvin cycles dia akan terganggu, right? So, because dia ada hubung kait lah, right? So the first thing first must be light. Okay, light dia akan kita panggil reaction dia, okay. Kita pergi satu-satu dulu. Okay, so like photosynthesis energy, dia nak convert in organic compound ataupun in organic compound ni carbon dioxide. Tapi bila dia dah assemble with dengan hydrogen ke dengan oksigen yang lain, dia akan jadi organik lah. nak define organic compound adalah molecules ataupun compounds yang backbone dia adalah carbon, right? So kita panggil organic carbon. Okay, so saya ni dah explain. Okay, and then in the equation saya cakap one of the factors that will affect the efficiency of the photosynthesis is the nature of lights, the quality of lights, the intensity of the lights. Alright. Kalau kita study on light, okay, dia one of the elements constitutes in the electromagnetic wavelengths. Okay. Basically, the shorter the wavelengths, the greater energy of each photon of light ataupun the greater energy of each wavelengths lah. Okay, so on the right, the most right end adalah gamma ray. Gamma ray, you see the what we call like the length of the wavelengths. Okay, dia adalah lagi pendek, so dia adalah paling berbahaya, right? They carries the most energy. And then you go to the left, which is X-ray. Dia masih membawa tenaga yang tinggi juga. Okay, membawa tenaga yang tinggi ni bermakna adalah it has enough energy to penetrate any or some of materials. Okay, for example, gamma ray, because of the energy that they carries, okay, dia boleh penetrate 10 block of concrete. Okay, imagine kalau you kena gamma rays, which is, you know, they can just simply go through your body lah. Okay, so bila they go through your body, okay, dia akan transfer some of the energy into you know, the energy can be transferred, okay, from one molecule to another molecule. That is one of the basic physics, basic and fundamental physics. You cannot you cannot create the energy, tapi energy can be transferred and then can be transferred ataupun dalam can be changed from gas, for example, into the liquid, from liquid to gas. Alright, so that's why X-ray kita tak boleh buat dalam orang kata many times, even few times, we cannot perform the X-ray dalam within a short times. Okay, sebab setiap kali you X-ray your body, dia akan go through your body. Alright, and then sebab tu you nampak gambar like skeleton, blah blah, something like that, because of the X-ray ada energy yang cukup untuk penetrate your body. Alright, tulang dia tak dapat, sebab tu you akan nampak tulang. Alright, so tisu lembut yang lain dia dapat penetrate. Right, so masa dia transfer dalam in our cells, in our body itu, some of energy dia akan transfer to your enzyme, your other molecules in the cells, right? Even your DNA, right? It can transfer the energy to your DNA, and then your DNA will get like boleh dapat mutation lah, dengan kata lain boleh dapat mutation. Okay, so gamma ray lagi lah, kalau dia tembak lagi memang even 10 blocks of concrete pun dia boleh tembus. Lagilah kita punya soft tissue kan in our body. And then X-ray, and then ultraviolet. Ultraviolet ni dia boleh penetrate our skin, tapi dia tak boleh penetrate our body. Maknanya from one end to another end cannot penetrate like that. But for the UV to penetrate your epidermis skin, alright, get into your cells, dia masih boleh. The energy dia still cukup untuk penetrate your skin. That's why you are mostly advised to put on antioxidant like vitamin C. Alright, vitamin C can capture the energy. Sorry, not vitamin C, vitamin E. Vitamin E ni not water soluble, tapi fat soluble. So vitamin E tu dia akan dia akan tukar before it reach to sensitive part in your cells. Vitamin E dalam you punya tissue adipose, tissue epidermis, something like that, dia akan quench the energy, dia akan capture energy, dia akan dissipate the energy safely lah, right? And then visible. Okay, visible ni lah yang ada 7 colors, alright? Visible ni adalah 7 colors of the rainbows. Okay, actually white light ni, sunlight ni ada white light, tapi kalau it go through prism that we can break down the spectrum, ada 7 colors. Alright, kita panggil cahaya putih, tapi actually ada 7 another wavelengths, different wavelengths in the visible light. Yeah. Alright, so visible light ni adalah komposisi cahaya, alright, komposisi cahaya yang akan digunakan oleh fotosintesis, digunakan oleh klorofil in the photosynthesis process. Dia tak guna gamma ray, dia tak guna X-ray. Gamma ray ni biasa artificial lah, dia tak ada nature gamma ray. X-ray pun artificial, right? Ultraviolet ada, depends. Ultraviolet the wavelength panjang, alright. So ultraviolet ni ada juga dalam from the suns. Okay, dalam sunlight memang ada ultraviolet. Sebab tu you go to the beach ke you know under the sunlight, you advisable to you are advised to get protection, like letak vitamin E ke, sun UV protection ke, something like that, because of the UV, right? UV ni coming from the sunlight kalau dalam nature environment lah, right? And then visible light, right? Infrared ni, microwave ni, lain cerita. So we are looking at the visible light. So visible light ni pula dia ada 7 colors. And then photosynthesis system ni dia ada preference dia sendiri. Out of 7 colors, dia ada preference dia sendiri yang mana colors dia nak. Alright. So okay, we can look here. Okay, kita ada 7 colors, alright, in the visible wavelengths, alright. Kita ada dalam chloroplast, kita ada chlorophyll. Chloroplast is organelle, and then kita ada chlorophyll, right. Chlorophyll is kita panggil antena dengan reaction center. Reaction center ada antena dan reaction center. So okay, this one we call reaction center. Kat sini reaction center. Antena ada somewhere here. Tak nampak dalam ni. Alright, this one ada antena. Alright. So, chlorophyll A is reaction center. Yeah, this reaction center, chlorophyll A. Okay, chlorophyll B is mostly antenna, right? So the function of antenna is to capture as many light that can capture, right? Chlorophyll A is also capturing the light, tapi dia ada preference dia sendiri, means that kalau tenaga tak cukup, kalau energy tak cukup, alright, antenna ni ada function dia. Function dia capture the energy, alright, from the sunlight. Dia akan transfer from one antenna, one chlorophyll A to another chlorophyll A, and jump from another jump into another chlorophyll A, and finally reach the reaction center. Dia akan lompat. Contoh sini reaction center, and then ada antenna. Tugas chlorophyll A is only to capture the light, right? The sunlight, the energy. Saya kadang-kadang akan gunakan sunlight ataupun photon ataupun energy, alright? Dia semua sama aja. Term dia semua sama aja, alright? Light is also energy, alright? Light is also a photon, right? Photon is also light and also energy, alright? So the antenna, dia punya tugas is just to absorb the light. Okay, so light will strike down on the antenna, and then antena dia akan transfer kepada satu antena yang lain, and then finally reach to the reaction center, right? Light pun boleh je strike away to the reaction center, which is very good lah. Okay, tapi tugas antena adalah untuk capture the the light as well. So antena dengan reaction center dia ada preference dia sendiri, which light they want to capture. Alright, so chlorophyll A dia suka pada blue. Alright, chlorophyll B also pada blue light. Alright, green dia tak absorb, right? The reflects. That's why kita nampak benda hijau pada daun, because of the light, because of the chloroplast, dia akan filter out the green color, the green wavelengths. They filter out and reflect back the wavelengths. Sebab tu kita nampak warna hijau. That's why kita nak tengok pokok tu hidup ke tak, kita tengok warna hijau. Sebab apa? Sebab kalau warna hijau maknanya ada chloroplast. Because of what? Because of the warna hijau tu sendiri adalah reflection from the chloroplast. Right? Kita tak nampak warna biru because of what? Because of dia guna the colors tu, the wavelengths tu untuk process of the photosynthesis. Alright? Okay. Okay. So kita tahu setiap molecules, right? Dia ada setiap molecules dia absorb, ada capability to absorb several wavelengths, specific wavelengths, right? For example, carotenoid carotenoid ni lobak, for example, warna orange. Okay, carotenoid ni dia absorb warna biru, maknanya dia guna warna biru. So kita tak nampak warna biru, right? Tapi dia reflect warna orange. Tak boleh conteng kat sini. Okay, tengok line orange tu. Line orange is carotenoid. So dia akan absorb warna biru, tapi dia akan reflect warna orange. Okay. Tengok pada chlorophyll A. Alright, chlorophyll A is antena. Dia akan absorb warna biru, and then dia also akan absorb warna orange. We call far red. Okay. So these are the lights that will be absorbed. And light dia akan absorb 7 kali tu dia akan dia absorb, tapi dia akan select. Okay. Warna sekian-sekian akan digunakan untuk photosynthesis, means that the same energy will be used to fix the carbon dioxide and then will be bind together with carbon dioxide to form a glucose. Wavelengths lain dia akan remove. Okay. Okay. Saya suka baca, tunjuk yang satu yang sangat yang satu gambar raja yang agak kita boleh explain many things. Okay. So, like I said tadi yang okay. When the light is absorbed, okay, the light will be used to excite the electron. Okay, the important entity during the light reaction in photosynthesis is electron. All right, electron is very important here, right? Light, okay, light bila dia strike on the chlorophyll, all right, dia ada there will be three phases of the light, okay. Bila light dah strike on the chlorophyll, dia akan ada 3 fate ataupun keputusan nasib for that light. Nombor 1, dia akan dissipated as energy, as a heat, okay. Ada sistem yang akan tukarkan the energy, light energy kepada heat, alright. Kedua, ada light itu, that energy will be used for the photosynthesis process, alright. Nombor 3, dia akan release as a fluorescent. Fluorescent yang benda yang berkilap, benda yang berkilap macam sotong yang fluorescent. Itu sebenarnya dia release energy, alright, dalam bentuk fluorescence. Right? So, if the energy is too much for the system to cater, right, dia akan release as energy ataupun release as a fluorescence, because not all the energy will be absorbed and used in the photosynthesis process. Alright, setiap benda ada dalam keseimbangan. Alright, dia tak boleh more than threshold. Alright, sebab for example, kita katakan ni adalah satu sistem, alright, photosynthesis, okay. If too much of the light sampaikan all proteins in the membranes ni, dia tak boleh cater lagi the energy, so dia akan ambil precaution step, which is dia akan remove the excess energy, alright, remove the excess energy as a heat ataupun remove as a fluorescent, okay. Tapi katakanlah energy is sufficient enough, sampaikan the amount of energy will not stress the system, so that energy will be used in the photosynthesis. Alright, so energy ni bila dia tak boleh bertukar banyak. Bila dia dah absorb, dia dah tak bentuk cahaya dah, dia dalam bentuk energy. Alright, dia tak bentuk cahaya, dia bentuk energy. So energy ni will be transported, right? Energy will be transported in terms of the energy, hanya boleh buat dalam antena boleh, alright. Tapi once it reach the reaction center, alright, the energy need to be carried out by something else, alright. That something else is electron, alright. Where does the electron coming from? Coming from the water. That's why you see the equation ada water, carbon dioxide plus water. Carbon dioxide tu dia punya importance tu ada dalam Kelvin cycle lah, right? Tapi water dia punya importance adalah dalam light reaction photosynthesis, because water will be split out and then dia akan menghasilkan oxygen, and then dia akan menghasilkan protons, and then dia akan menghasilkan electron. If you learn chemistry, in organic chemistry, alright, molecules ni ada protons and electron, alright, the same number lah. Ada protons, ada electron. Proton is positive charge, electron is negative charge. So in this process, electron will be extracted from the water, okay, and then bila dah split out tadi, oxygen will be released. Oxygen will be released. We call oxidation of water, the extraction of electron from water. Alright. Proses kehilangan elektron dalam water lah, oxidation of water. So electron ni tadi dia akan go to the reaction center, and then at the reaction center, energy that they absorbed by the antenna ataupun directly absorbed in the reaction center will be used to excite the electron from the lower energy levels to the higher energy level. Alright, dia akan jump from lower energy level, dia akan go up to higher energy level. I'm not sure if you familiar with Dragon Ball Z, okay, ataupun Dragon Ball. It's like ada satu form what they call it Super Saiyan. Okay, dia daripada belum jadi Super Saiyan, alright, dia low energy level, and then tiba-tiba dia dapat tenaga, dengan rambut dia warna emas sebagai tu, right? And then tu dinamakan high energy level, right? Same goes to same analogy with the electron, right? Dia akan receive the energy, high energy, and kan diterima, akan receive the energy, and then electron ni akan go up to the higher level. Oh, it go up. Alright. Bila dah sampai satu tahap, and then dia akan release the energy, and dia akan go down back. Okay. So the go down back ni dia akan jump from one proteins to another proteins. The all set here we call proteins. Okay. Proteins ada dua. Okay, general information. Protein ada dua, sama ada dia dalam bentuk enzim atau functional proteins, dia akan bertindak balas dengan molekul lain like enzim, ataupun protein structure. Alright, this thing kita panggil protein structure lah, embedded to the plasma membrane. Alright, so bila electron from one protein to another protein, dia ada terms dia. We call oxidation, we call reduction. Yeah. We call oxidation and we call reduction. Oxidation is a process of losing electron. Reduction is the process of receiving the electron. Right. Jadi oxidation is process of losing electron. Reduction process is process of receiving electron. Alright. Ini adalah proses yang biological process lah in the cells. Alright. So oxidation, reduction, oxidize, reduce. Okay, oxidation, reduction is a process. Okay, oxidize is what is happening. Alright. So once bila electron from one proteins, okay, katakanlah protein A to protein B. Alright. Kita kata ni lah protein A and protein B. Alright. So electron from A to B we call process adalah reduction process. Alright. A will be oxidized, losing electron, oxidized. B will be reduced. Okay, maknanya B terima elektron, A oxidized, losing the electron. Okay, so bila one electron from A to B here, alright, kita panggil protein here is plus 2 quinon. Alright, so bila dia pump in, dia transfer from protein ni kita panggil PS2 lah, PS2, photosystem 2. The whole set ni kita panggil, the whole set here we call photosystem 2. The whole set is photosystem 1. Right, from the photosystem 2 kepada plus 2 quinon, right, process reduction happens, oxidation and reduction. So A losing the electron, B will be accepting the electron. So B will be in the reduced state. A will be in oxidized state. Oxidized state losing electron. So bila elektron ni dah berpindah kepada B, dia akan ada lompong. It will be empty site for the electron. So the next electron coming from the next molecule of water, dia akan masuk balik lah. It's a continuous process. So new molecule of water will go and will be split out in the PS2 system, photosystem 2, and then provide the electron. Then electron will jump to the higher energy level and go back down to reduce the plus 2 quinone. So now plus 2 quinone is reduced state. Alright. So and then electron from the plus 2 quinone, dia akan go to the cytochrome BF6, B6F, cytochromes. And then cytochrome will be reduced plus 2 quinone, we call it oxidized state. Sekarang ni plus 2 quinone pula dia akan hilang electron. So electron from the photosystem 2, dia akan pindah balik dalam plus 2 quinone sebab bila dalam reaction chain reaction, kebanyakannya protein, you cannot leave the proteins dalam bentuk oxidized ataupun reduce pada jangka masa yang lama, right? Maknanya dia akan disrupt the system, right? So once proteins is oxidized, within second dia akan terima elektron baru yang kita namakan reduction process. Dia akan terima new electron. So dia akan pindahkan the electron kepada protein lain dan dia akan jadi oxidized state. So the next protein will be in the reduced state. Okay, and then the next proteins yang reduced state tu dia akan losing electron, akan menjadi dalam oxidized state. Right, the next protein plus 2 cyanine here dia akan jadi a reduced state. Alright. So perjalanan elektron ni dia akan one protein to another protein, one protein to another proteins. Okay, for this the plus 2 quinone sites, okay, bila dia reduce the plus 2 quinone, dia akan pump in to molecule hydrogen, proton. Oh, masuk sini. Right, sini banyak juga, ni banyak H, banyak proton. There are many protons here. Macam mana protons ni ada banyak kat sini nanti saya explain. Right, so dia bila electron from photosystem 2 jumping to plus 2 quinones, dia akan attract, alright, dia akan pull protons from stroma into lumens, right? If you look at the thalakot structure, okay, dalam bahagian dalam is a lumens, dalam bahagian luar we call stroma, right? So protons from stroma side dia akan absorbed by the plus 2 quinone proteins. Pada masa yang sama, process of reduction of the plus 2 quinone, okay, pada masa yang sama plus 2 quinone tu terima electron, okay, pada masa yang sama at the same time it is in a reduced state, dia akan pull in molecule protons. Tak ada. Right? The reduced state accepting the electron, at the same time it's pull in protons masuk kepada lumens. Okay, so setiap kali elektron dia berpindah, so dia akan produce hydrogen, banyak hidrogen lah. Alright, so hydrogen here is also coming from the water itself here. Alright, so ada two source of hydrogen coming, right, from the stroma and then also from the water. Alright, so and then the electron will reach at the photosystem 1. Why photosystem 2 then photosystem 1? Because of the scientists discover photosystem 2 first, then the photosystem 1. So that's why the arrangement of the proteins, right, bit like not difference, tapi it's like that lah. Why pick photosystem 2 first and then photosystem 1? Why not the vice versa? But because of the scientists discover photosystem 2 first and photosystem 1, right? So bila dah low energy levels in the photosystem 1, coming lepas tu akan ada second strike of light. Alright, second strike of light kepada photosystem 1, and then dia akan energize the electron again to the higher energy level. Right? So bila high energy level ni, and then dia transfer to ferredoxin, and then dia transfer kepada enzyme. I can't remember FNR ni, tapi saya ingat R ni reductase. Right? So within this reaction, the electron will reduce NADP plus kepada NADPH. So now NADPH ni in the high energy levels, right? Electron. So electron ni dia kena ada proteins. It cannot just simply Kelvin cycle happen in the stroma. Alright. Elektron ni dia tak boleh pergi merata-rata. Alright. Dia tak boleh pergi merata-rata. Dia pergi merata-rata random. Okay. Dia akan reduce the oxygen. Bila reduce the oxygen, dia akan hasilkan free radical oxygen ataupun radical bebas. Ataupun bahasa Melayu itulah radical bebas yang you kena makan vitamin lah. Right. Radical bebas is very reactive. Dia akan damage your DNA, your protein and blah blah blah. That's why you need to take antioxidant. Because when oxygen is reduced by electron, it has extra electron. So bila dia ada extra electron, it tends to steal electron from another molecules. Alright, to make it stable. Alright. So bila macam tu, dia dah steal elektron molekul lain pun akan reaktif sebab dia tak cukup elektron on the orbital sides of the molekul lah. Kita tahu kan ada satu atom tu dia akan ada nucleus and neutron yang belah, and then proton, and then ada elektron kat orbital side paling luar. Alright, the most outside orbitals. Dia ada extra dia ada electron, and then dia nak make it stable, dia akan steal another dia akan steal electron from another molecules, and then molecules tu bila electron dia hilang, dia akan tends to react dengan benda lain untuk steal electron. Dia akan continuously change until ada antioxidant to interfere the change. So change tu akan stop lah. That's why antioxidant very important to neutralize the reactive oxygen species ataupun free radicals. That's why you advise to kalau bersukan ke apa, makan benda yang balance, termasuk antioxidant, alright, vitamin C. Alright, vitamin C dia boleh counter reactive oxygen lah. Alright. Setakat ni vitamin C yang sangat popular. Right, popular antioxidant. Right. So go back to the lecture. So elektron ni tak boleh just melompat satu protein ke satu protein dengan random lah, secara random. So Tuhan dah jadikan ada specific proteins yang can accept the electron and then bring the electron masuk dalam Kelvin cycle. Alright. So this energy from the from NADPH will be used to fix the carbon dioxide, reduce the carbon dioxide. Maksud reduce ni adalah carbon dioxide dalam bentuk gases, dia akan reduce carbon dioxide gases tu dalam bentuk organic forms. Alright. So tamat cerita NADPH ni kita panggil electron carrier. Dia akan go into the Kelvin cycle, right? And then so what happens to the proton here? Alright, because of the continuous events of electron jumping from PS2 here to plus to quinone here, right? And continuous water splitting produce the protons, and continuous proton pumps from stroma masuk dalam humans, the number of hydrogen here will be high, will be intense. Alright, kat sini banyak lah, H+, Alright. So bila dah too concentrated, dia akan induce a condition where what we call electrochemical gradients, right? And then electrochemical gradients will lead to a condition what we call chemiosmosis process, all right, where the hydrogen dia akan tends to go out, all right. It's like macam you are in the compact room, very dense room with people, and then you ada satu small door yang kecil, all right. Everybody want to go out, all right. Everybody want to go out. Everybody spend the energy, alright, alright. So bila masing-masing nak keluar, alright, bayangkan dalam bilik ni masing-masing nak keluar, of course you akan bersesak-sesak, alright. Bila you bersesak-sesak tu, of course you release the energy, alright. And then the energy ada protein yang boleh capture all the energy, alright. And then this is what happening like a dynamo lah, right? Hydrogen ni akan go masuk dalam satu protein what we call ATP synthase. Synthase is synthesis enzyme, alright. So in this case ATP synthase, for ATP synthesis. So dia akan masuk here, alright. So dia akan rotate dia like a dynamo like, okay, rotate, and then dia akan form the ADP campur phosphate inorganic menjadi ATP. So this ATP will be used to this ATP will be used in the Calvin cycle. Alright. So ni yang saya cakap tadi, the sole objective, the only objective of light duration and photosynthesis, light dependence, is to produce NADPH, electron carrier, and then ATP. Alright, both ATP and ADPH will be used in the Calvin cycle. Alright, Calvin cycle ni dia akan terima input from light reaction lah. So that's why if the light reaction light dependence disrupted, okay, ataupun something happens, ataupun in chain reaction of the proteins in the thallic membrane, this set of proteins in the thallic membrane stress, so they akan affect the production of NADPH and the process of making the ATP. So the Calvin cycle will be affected as well. Alright. So setakat ni faham sampai sini?
Faham.
Okay. So the rest adalah berkenaan dengan cerita berbenda yang saya dah bercerita-cerita. Alright. Benda-benda yang simple. Electron transport. Okay. Okay, ini saya masukkan sikit what happens okay during stress. Alright, during stress ni bila pokok stress lah. Means that kita tahu that plants release oxygen through the stomata. Bila open stomata, dia ada exchange. Carbon dioxide will be coming in, oxygen will go out. And ada juga oxygen yang masuk. So sebab dia open air, macam you open the door, oxygen ke carbon dioxide boleh masuk dalam, carbon oxygen dalam ni boleh keluar, oxygen daripada dalam boleh go out, and then oxygen from the outside can come in, and then carbon dioxide dari luar boleh masuk kat dalam. Alright, tapi very little carbon dioxide kat dalam boleh keluar because of the carbon dioxide inside will be fixed in the Calvin cycle. Alright, so during the stress, I mean that kalau pokok you tanam dan you tak siram pun air, right, you tak watering properly lah, right. So plants will feel stress, dia akan close the stomata ataupun partially close the stomata. Alright, so bila partially close the stomata, so the numbers of the carbon dioxide in Calvin cycle will be reduced. right, will be reduced. The number of carbon dioxide will be reduced. So bila will be reduced, okay, so you know that each electron in the electron carrier here, ATP ni tak ada masalah. Dia boleh digunakan untuk benda lain, to fill up the other metabolic activities. ATP ni tak ada masalah. The problem will be NADPH. Alright, so setiap kali NADPH dia akan go into Calvin cycle. Alright, NADPH will be oxidized. Alright, dia akan lose the electron. Electron tu will be transferred to carbon dioxide to become organic carbon. Alright, so electron akan ditransfer. Alright, dan dia akan safely store in the glucose, a new molecules that are being formed. Okay, and NADPH after it's losing the electron will go back to NADP plus, means that plus here they're losing electron. Alright, maknanya kalau dia ada electron, so all the charge in the molecules balance lah, ada protons and ada electron. When the electron has been transferred, and then they akan go back to the extra charge forms, which is in this case in NADP plus. And NADP plus, they akan accept a new electron from the PS1, alright, PS1 ferredoxin FNR something like that. So dia akan transfer back the electron kepada NADP plus, kepada NADPH, and NADPH will go again into the Calvin cycles and transfer the electron to carbon dioxide to become organic carbons, and the oxidized NADP plus APH tadi, the NADPH tadi will go back to NAD plus, right, losing the electron. So this cycle continues. The problem happens if the numbers of Kelvins, the numbers of carbon dioxide ataupun the incoming carbon dioxide stops. Okay, kat sini water split masih berlaku, right? So the system still continuously producing the electron, right? Meanwhile, in the Calvin cycle, the numbers of the carbon dioxide tu dah very limited, and at one point they akan reach to zero, right? Reach to zero. So bila reach to zero, NADPH will remain as NADPH. Alright, dia takkan bertukar lah kepada NADP plus. So bila sebab dia tak ada siapa dah dia nak transfer the electron. Alright. So NADPH will still remain as NADPH, which is not very good because of the keep incoming of the electron will go and jump from one protein to another protein. So dia tak ada tempat dah dia nak transfer the electron. So because the number of NADP plus will also be reduced because of NADPH yang asal yang first tadi tu dia tak transfer electron to any molecules yet. In this case, what kita panggil carbon dioxide lah, right? So the number of NADPH will become limited and finally will be occupied. All the NADP plus will be occupied, become NADPH, but the electron is still coming. So what happens adalah the electron cannot stay as an electron literally. It needs to be transferred to other molecules. Macam mana dia kena pindah juga kat molekul lain. Macam dia pindah satu molecules and then pindah ke satu dia pindah satu one protein to another proteins, alright? Okay, so maknanya dia electron kena stay dalam molecules, alright? Dalam molecules. So dia tak boleh freely. Like that. Bila dia freely, dia akan macam mana pun dia akan mencari molekul untuk dia attach the electron, the extra electron yang tadi. So the most vulnerable molecules, free molecules adalah oxygen. Oxygen yang di-release during the oxidation of water, right? So oxygen will be like this, one extra electron. This is what we call reactive oxygen species. Free radical bebas. Okay, actually radical bebas ni also happens in our body juga lah. When we do respiration, if you remember dalam respiration process, dalam mitochondria ada proses what we call oxidative phosphorylation, right? The electron transport change. Any area, any site that involve electron transport change, dia akan ada chances of making ataupun producing the reactive oxygen species, right? In our body, in animals body, electron transport change ada dalam mitochondria saja. In the plants, dia ada dua site. Satu in the thylakoid membrane here, and also in the electron transport change in the mitochondria. We call oxidative phosphorylation, right? So macam badan manusia, bila kita terlalu bersukan, alright, kita terlalu bersukan, more carbohydrate will be broken down, right? More carbohydrate broken down, and then more electron will be produced. And then more electron will be produced and more electron will enter the electron transport change, right? Kalau sistem dalam mitochondria kita tu tak betul, alright, dia akan produce the reactive oxygen species as well, right? The reactive oxygen species as well, reactive oxygen species ni free radicals, the nature of the effects sama je, right? Dia tak stable, and then dia akan kacau neutral electron lain yang neutral in terms of the number of the electron, right? Untuk oksigen ni dia akan stabilize dia punya diri. Pada masa yang sama dia akan making chaos kepada molekul-molekul lain. Dan paling teruk dia akan kacau your DNA, alright? Yang paling teruk dia akan kacau your enzyme, so your enzyme will be in function, alright? So that's why saya cakap tadi awal-awal, you kena makan cukup antioksidan, like macam vitamin C. If you have a very active lifestyle, you can take makanan yang sihat lah, yang contain vitamin C ke apa. Lepas bersukan, you minum air yang makan limau ke, yang ada air yang vitamin C ke. Sebab your active lifestyle, dia akan pressure your electron transport change dalam your mitochondria. Because of what? Bila you berjogging ataupun you do active sport, you need energy. Alright, energy ni coming from the electron transport change in the mitochondria. Right? If the electron transport change in the mitochondria tu ada problems, dia akan produce dia akan produce reactive oxygen species. Naturally dia akan hasilkan apa? Reactive oxygen species. So makan benda yang sihat, balance, makan buah-buahan, so dia akan eliminate lah reactive oxygen species ni. Dan reactive oxygen species ni dia boleh degrade your collagen molecules. So kalau bila kita stress, nama stress tu pun adalah berkaitan dengan reactive oxygen species. Okay, bila you stress, you akan produce more electron transport, you akan produce more reactive oxygen species. Why this reactive oxygen species, bila dalam amount yang banyak, dia akan break down your collagen structure. Bila your collagen structure, dan you akan nampak berkedut-kedut lah, di muka ke, you punya skin ke apa ke, right? Because of the reactive oxygen species. That's why the balanced lifestyle is important. Okay. Yeah. Sekejap saya nak buat phone call. So kita kalau you go nanti saya akan upload di slide. Okay. Okay, photosynthesis is my forte. Alright. Saya tak tengok slide. So there might be possibilities of apa yang saya tanya takkan ada dalam slide lah. Apa yang saya conteng-conteng tadi mungkin ada dalam exam question lah. Not necessarily apa yang ada dalam slide lah. Alright. So saya bercakap berdasarkan saya punya knowledge. So saya tak tengok slide. So saya tak berapa pasti pun slide ni ada apa. Saya tak ingat ada apa yang dalam slide ni. So mostly apa yang saya explain tu memang ada dalam slide lah. Alright, I mean not directly, tapi during the explanation mungkin ada benda yang sama lah. Right, for example here electron are extracted from water. Okay, electron are extracted from water in the human to replace the missing electron in P60. P680, 680. P680 ke P photosystem tu ni sama je. Right? So the missing electron going to plastoquinone, the next protein ataupun electron acceptor, right? Plastoquinones, and then dia akan digantikan oleh oxidation of next molecule of water. Right? So the importance of water here dalam equation is not the system to drink the water literally, but the importance of having the electron from the water. So the photosystem 2 will extract the electron from water and then split the water into hydrogen, oxygen, and then electron. Electron nilai will be used to transfer the electron, right? So basically kalau you tengok balik the whole system of the photosynthesis, okay, the energy from the sun will be converted into organic compounds, okay. Maknanya electron from the photosystem 1 right? Electron from the photosystem 1 ni, dia terima light energy, right? Light energy, so dia akan simpan, nak kita kata macam dia pegang the electron, right? Dia pegang the energy, electron pegang the energy and then transfer the energy into NADPH, alright? So NADPH ni yang akan masuk ke recycle, dia transfer the energy kepada carbon dioxide, and then energy in carbon dioxide tu dia akan, energy with the carbon dioxide, they akan incorporated into one molecules, high dense energy molecules, what we call glucose. And then glucose ni nanti dia akan broken down, and the same principle applies, alright, to produce the ATP, alright. The energy from the glucose dia akan transfer to electron akan be transferred to NADH, alright, electron carrier, and finally dia akan digunakan electron transport change to produce the ATP. So maknanya sebenarnya energy tu daripada asal dia adalah from the sun, right? So dia akan transform from one place, not transform, dia akan dibawa, transfer, something like that. Tapi tenaga tu kita tak boleh create, tapi dia boleh berubah bentuk. Dan the same tenaga adalah tenaga yang asal pada matahari. Kan, kalau you tengok balik the gambar aja, alright, from the diagram here, alright, the purpose of the first part here adalah to pump in the protons from the stroma kepada lumens, so that dia akan create satu keadaan we call electrochemical gradients. So dia akan masuk dalam ATP synthase to produce ATP, right? And then pada masa sama elektron ni membawa energy, right? Energy from the sun. Of course, along the way, the journey, dia akan release energy, right? Release energy. So energy ni akan hilang sebagai heat, akan hilang sebagai fluorescence. Okay, tapi pada PS1 dia akan receive another set of energy from the light, right? So energy from the light ni dia akan dipindahkan kepada NADPH. NADPH ni tenaga dalam NADPH from the electron that receive the energy will be entering the carbon cycle, transfer, again I repeat, and transfer the energy, combine with carbon dioxide, and then jadi dalam satu concentrated molecules of energy we call carbohydrate. And then carbohydrate ni nanti dia akan masuk process of the respiration. And then maknanya tenaga yang asal-asal daripada glucose and asal-asalnya from the beginning adalah light, digunakan balik untuk process of making ATP during respiration and mitochondria. And then kita akan broken down the heat, the ATP, and then kita akan menghasilkan carbon dioxide. Kita bernafas, kita inhale and exhale. Exhale, kita produce the carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide we go back to the atmosphere, and then the same cycle happens lah. And go back to the photosynthesis process. Macam tu. Alright. So and then the process of photosynthesis start with water, light and water lah, right? And then they produce the carbohydrate, and carbohydrate go to for the respiration, and then respiration dia akan menghasilkan water. Alright, kalau kita manusia, kita tak do the photosynthesis, we eat the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate ni coming from the plants. Alright, so kita makan carbohydrate tu, and then bila kita broken down the carbohydrate, kita akan produce carbon dioxide and water. Kalau kita bernafas, you tengok the equation, saya tak ingat dia punya equation, tapi saya tahu dia menghasilkan carbon dioxide dan water. So from the water it's coming, and then dia akan kembali go back to the water bila kita, maknanya sebenarnya cycle photosynthesis and respiration tu memang cycle yang berterusan daripada water dia start, and then end of the day kepada water juga dia kembali, which is bila kita bernafas. Alright, when the plants do the respiration as well, dia akan produce carbon dioxide, and then dia akan produce water, right? Water tu takkan hilang, dia akan go back to the cycle. Not literally the same water, tapi nak bagi tahu water tu adalah water, bukan water yang asal yang sebelum dia split. Okay? Okay, my principle is same. My principle is simple. If I don't remember every single enzyme, for example, in the carbon cycle, or even we have like several reaction here, electron. Okay, even the cytochrome B6 complex, there are several other proteins actually composed in one that big complex. Alright, so one electron akan jump within the complex tu, right? There are the series of sub-reaction, alright? Tapi saya explain tadi generally, dia from plus to quinone pergi one to protein and then another set of proteins, okay? So you don't have to remember this. I won't ask this, alright, in the exam, okay? What I want to tell you, I don't remember every single reaction in this small complex, right? So I won't expect that you're gonna be remembering all these things, okay? Dia tak berguna sangat pun unless you are really doing for your master and or you go for the higher level of academic line, right? Saya yang belajar sampai tinggi punya academic line pun saya tak hafal, right? Sebab ada some set of knowledge it's worth for you to keep in mind, and then ada some set of knowledge it's just for your knowledge, right? As long as it doesn't touch your principal knowledge, alright? So dalam case ni, saya explain, as long as you understand what is electron transport change in the light reaction process of photosynthesis, that's really good lah. But I'm going to expect that you at least know that what is cytochrome BF, what is plastoquinone, what the protein that pull in the protons from the stroma into the lumens, okay, what the proteins that making up the ATP, okay, what the electron carriers, okay, what the function of the electron carrier, all right, what the function of the energy, that is general things in the photosynthesis. I hope you tahulah, right? Dia apa tadi? 12 telecon PHY. Okay, macam ni simple dia pasal electrochemical gradients lah. Dia akan dia induce the state of the state of acidicity of the lumens. Okay, so maksud acidity in the lumens pun dah mewakili the numbers of the hydrogen. Hydrogen kan, pH kan berkenaan dengan hydrogen related to the hydrogen numbers in one set of condition, right? So this is how they manipulate the condition to generate electrochemical gradients. Ini yang simple lah. Okay, this yang saya cerita tadi, mechanism minimize damage. Okay, photon intensity, okay, ini saya ingat saya explain tadi, alright. The fade of energy or sunlight, dia ada 3. Dissipated as heat, dissipated as fluorescence, ataupun memang digunakan untuk photosynthesis process. Alright. So if the energy is too excessive, alright, dia akan access for first line of defense suppression of mechanism, means that dia akan dissipated, saya pun ingat nak google. Okay, dissipate. So dia akan dissipate the energy tu, dia akan convert to the heat, so dia akan release safely. Alright. And then dia akan release dissipate the energy as fluorescent safely. Right. Untuk bila ditukar kepada heat, alright, maksud dissipate heat safely itu adalah ada molecules lain, compound lain yang boleh capture the heat and then bawa pergi jauh and then they release as a heat. Okay, dia jadi valve untuk remove the heat. If not, this is what happens. Okay. Nombor satu tadi saya cakap the production of reactive oxygen species, right? When all the proteins here semua dah occupied dengan elektron, alright? Sini pun dah occupied dengan elektron, alright? Occupied elektron. So incoming elektron ni dah stuck. Dia tak boleh nak pergi mana-mana. Right? So dia boleh attack pada oksigen, menjadi oksigen. Okay. Satu. Reactive oxygen species. Yang kedua, bila dia tak dissipate energy in a very safe way, okay, dia energy tu boleh transfer kepada oksigen. Dia transfer the oksigen, tapi oksigen ni bukan extra electron, right? Dia berkenaan heat. So the heat will be transferred to oxygen menjadi triplet oxygen. Means that oksigen ni dia ada low ground level, energy level, tapi dia terima receive energy, dia akan excited to higher energy level. Dia excited to high energy level, alright, dia akan attack molecule lines and transfer the energy kepada molecule lines, and the molecules lain pula dia akan jadi sama gila macam oksigen lah yang tadi, and dia pun attack sampai energy tu slowly berkurang. Tapi nak tunggu energy tu berkurang, dia akan involve mungkin few proteins transfer from one protein to another protein, tapi on the way satu protein tu nak transfer the protein, ataupun on the way of that protein that receive the energy tu nak release dia punya heat tu, mungkin dia boleh jadi tak functional. Okay, it can be broken down because of the extra energy. Right? So ada specific compounds yang bila light ni tadi dissipate as energy, ada satu compound normally what we call carotenoid. Carotenoid ni dia akan capture the energy, dia akan dissipate the energy very safely before the energy reach the oxygen here. Okay, dia ada protective measurement by the carotenoid, ataupun normally kita panggil, ada juga macam carotenoid, benda yang orange tu, ada yang kita panggil zeaxanthin. Okay, itu adalah compound yang akan capture the heat and then bring the heat out very safely before it reach the oxygen. Alright. And also another protective steps taken by the system adalah they produce anthocyanin. Alright, anthocyanin ni warna purple. You Google lah anthocyanin warna purple. Kobis yang warna purple tu adalah high in anthocyanin. Alright. Tapi itu genetically lah, memang dia produce anthocyanin. Alright, tapi pokok yang asalnya hijau, tapi suddenly because of the light, normally light you tengok dia warna purple, suddenly slowly and change to warna purple. Itu means that dia tengah dalam process of the protective mechanism, purposely produce the anthocyanin, right? Anthocyanin warna purple dan blue, right? Blue purple macam itulah, alright. Kenapa blue and purple? Sebab dia filter out the blue colours of the sunlight wavelength. If you remember the first few slide tadi, alright, ada electromagnetic wavelengths. Okay, photosystem tu P6AO ni atau dan chlorophyll, dia suka benda warna biru dan purple. Part of it dari UV lah. Part of the wavelength ni dia akan capture UV. Alright, bila dah itu excessive, dia akan produce, dia ni cakap konsekuensi yang I just explain tu tadi, dia energy, dia akan stress the system, dia akan transfer the energy to oxygen, and ataupun the electron ni tadi, dia akan transfer the electron tu tadi kepada oxygen. Dua-dua akan menghasilkan reactive oxygen species, oxygen yang gila punya, yang reaktif. So the production of anthocyanin ni, sebab tu kita nampak dia warna purple dengan biru, sebab dia filter out. Right, dia filter out. Ke antena tu dia dah filter out. Kita tak boleh, pokok dia tak boleh halang sunlight tu strike on the leaf. Right, what they can do adalah internal punya defense mechanism, produce anthocyanins, and the anthocyanin will filter out the blue colours. Alright, if the system said that, if the system thinks that okay, it can cater more blue light, so the anthocyanin will slowly be dissolved lah, will be broken down. Okay, kalau the system said okay, feel stress, okay, or we don't need more blue light, okay, now enough is the light intensity now is okay, is enough, so they akan produce anthocyanin, alright, to filter out the blue colours. Alright, the blue colours. The green colours tu memang dah automatically reflected by the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll doesn't want green colour. So that's why kita nampak, kita tengok dia warna hijau. Tapi dia akan produce anthocyanin to filter out. That is defensive mechanism. Alright. Dia adalah more detail physiology untuk di explain, tapi saya tak rasa tak perlulah untuk for this course. Alright, this is what happens tadi bila the heat tu dah transfer to oxygen menjadi triplet oxygen 1.2 oxygen 2, maknanya oxygen yang elektron kat orbital dia cukup, tapi dia cuma ada extra energy. Alright, dia akan harm the other molecules. And the second is reactive oxygen species juga, oxygen yang have extra electron on the orbital side. Okay, dua-dua dia akan damage to D1 proteins in the photosystem 1. Alright, dia akan damage the proteins in the photosystem 2, the first tadi. Okay. So bila dia damage protein in the photosystem 2, photosystem 2 will get affected and damaged. So bila photosystem 2 pun dah disrupted, so photosynthesis will be slow lah. Alright. So dia akan ada process of repair. Alright, tapi repair tu dia akan taking time. Okay. This is what we call photoinhibition. The disruption of the proteins in the photosystem 2 we call photoinhibition. Kita panggil photoinhibition dalam bahasa Melayu apa? Kerosakan apa benda lah, tapi term dia photoinhibition lah. Disruption in the photosynthesis, photosystem 2 proteins, right? Okay, rasanya dah cukup dah untuk electron light reaction photosynthesis system. So now I hope that you understand kenapa pokok ni, kenapa photosynthesis ni ada dua sistem. Dua part. Light part and dark part. Okay, dark reaction, light reaction. Kenapa dipanggil light reaction? Kenapa satu lagi panggil dark reaction? Okay, what is happening in the light reaction yang menyebabkan term light reaction to occurs. Okay. Now, what the purpose of light reaction? Okay, so these are the things that very important lah for the light reaction system. Okay. P6XO ni kita panggil chlorophyll. Kita pun panggil chlorophyll. Kita boleh letak kat sini adalah CHL. Star sign ni normally kita panggil untuk for excited state, maknanya dia contain high energy level. Alright. So for P608 ni dia akan terima P680 ni dia akan terima energy, at the same time dia akan bring up the electron up to higher energy level. Alright, and then transfer the energy to the electron, and then dia akan bila dah sampai satu tempat, satu aras, and then dia akan hilang energy tu, dia akan go down balik, dia akan bind to another electron. Alright, so dia akan accept a new set of energy, an electron, and then jump again. Electron ni not electron tu yang terima energy dan dia jump no. Dia ada pembawa yang bawa electron to go up to the high energy levels, and then energy in the electron will slowly lose through the electron transport change before it reach the photosystem 1 and accept a new set of energy in the P700, akan bring up the electron and bawa kepada NADPH, become NADPH, masuk ke Calvin cycle. Okay, itu je lah. Any question? Ada soalan?
Tak ada.
Oh, tak ada. So okay lah, basically okay kan? Okay. Alright. So saya nak ambil few minutes untuk explain the next lab. Okay. So nampak tak tulisan kat sini?
Nampak.
Okay. So the next slide will be photosynthesis and respiration. Saya tak explain lagi respiration, tapi menjalani simple experiments. Because of I don't think you can do it in your at your home. Okay, so I just explain it here lah. Okay. So the experiment of this is to investigate the involvement of carbon dioxide in the process of photosynthesis and respiration in aquatic plants. Okay, how to demonstrate that photosynthesis depends on the input of light energy. Alright, so ada a few materials here, bromtimol blue stock solution. Okay, so ni memang kita dah prepare. Alright, kita dah prepare. Kita ni kena lab prepare by the ASO lah. Okay, so and then ada few other things, slash tube racks, tape and marking. Okay, and so on. And then basically the experiment is to grow aquatic plants that can perform photosynthesis. Right? We will have separate test tubes. Okay, based on the treatments. Okay, treatments dalam experiments